Hi there. Welcome back to the Streams of Emotions. My name is Moses. You can call me Mo for short. I'm really glad you are here with me again. So, last time we talked about something that I think is pretty eye opening on the fact of the research which has been done by neuroscience is revealing that most decisions are emotional first and logical second. So, what it means is that our emotions are quick in nature, they react to things quickly, but logic comes in either to massage what emotion has already decided upon or to redirect what the emotion decided. So we mentioned that it's important to understand your emotions so that you make choices that are truer to who you are. You make meaningful choices and not just impulsive ones. Today, I want to take it a step further in the episode 5 we're looking at today, and we want to talk about something that we often ignore, but quietly it causes a lot of pain, tension, and confusions in our life. I want to talk about the subject of ignoring our emotions. As human as we are, we tend to sometimes push down certain feelings. We don't want them. So we push them down. We brush them off. We ignore as though it never happened. We tell ourselves we are fine and we keep moving. And for a while, that feels like strength. That feels okay. That feels like we are in control. But the reality is that ignoring your emotions doesn't make them go away. It just makes them louder in ways that you can't always see. Let me paint this well for us to see. Let's say that you are going to work and you had a bad day, or it was an event and you had a bad day, or someone criticized you in front of others and you felt really bad, or you join a Zoom meeting and you were unmuted. You didn't know that, and you were speaking, talking about certain things that others got to know about it. These are unfortunate situations that may happen to anyone at any point in time. But do you know what sometimes we do is that we ignore the feelings that these things bring to us, and we try to move on in our with our life anyways and think everything is fine. We are okay, we are too strong, we are in control, we are in charge, and we can do whatever we want. But if you have observed critically, mostly when this thing happen, the subsequent situation afterwards, the people that you come across may suffer of what you didn't handle. So it may be that you may act angrily with people around you, or the least thing who irritates you, because there is an unhandled emotion that is operating behind the scene, which is causing you to make certain decisions. Or let's say that for you, you also still react very nice with people, but sometimes you just come home or you go to a place and you end up spending hours on social media, spending hours on maybe movies, or you try to get yourself into work so that you lose focus of what happened, or so that you can just let those things slide away from your mind. Or it may be that you may choose to take a drink, I mean, alcoholic drink or something, just to make you feel better for the meantime. And all that we are doing is trying to ignore the emotions. And you realize that ignoring it will always never help. If you have realized this, when you have come across anyone who ignored their emotion for a long time, these are the signs. The first time you see them really angry or acting, they'll act overboard. You realize that this is too overboard. That is why sometimes people can wait for a long time and they just come and tell you that enough is enough. I've stopped. Maybe it may be a relationship. They say, I'm fed up. But they seemed okay. No, they weren't okay. They were ignoring emotions over and over. But at that point, it became heavier for them to bear. Let me give you a scenario or analogy that can help you get this clearer. Let's say that you have a bill that you have to pay, unpaid bills. When you look at a bill and you decide not to pay, and this bill may have interest, it may be cumulative with time. And because you are not paying the bill and it's cumulating with time, for some period of time, it becomes difficult and challenging. Why? Because the price has increased and the interest has also increased. So it becomes difficult to pay. That is similar to what happens if we don't handle our emotions. We ignore our emotions. This is what happened. This is the point. See, when you ignore sadness, it doesn't go away. You just start feeling numb, unmotivated, and disconnected. Over time, that numbness can turn into depression. When you push down anger, it doesn't stay hidden. No. It shows up as bitterness, or you continually have unusual anger towards people, or you may be pulling away from relationship. That is the effect of the ignored anger. When you deny anxiety, it finds other exit. That is why sometimes we end up having poor sleeps, headaches, or we engage in habits that seem to calm us down for the moment but cost us later. This is the point. Emotions aren't the problem. Ignoring them is the problem. I want to take this again. Emotions aren't the problem. Ignoring them is the problem. What you don't deal with early usually come back louder and heavier. So let's look at a typical story that may connect with what we are looking at. So a story of Mike Tyson. He grew up in Brooklyn in deep poverty, surrounded by crime and violence. And as a kid, he was bullied, he got into fights, and he was even arrested. But we know Mike Tyson to be a very good boxer. And in the ring, we understand that his anger, he had issues with anger, and that fueled him. And he was really good in that he even became the heavyweight champion at the age of 20, and that was a history he made. But outside the ring, those same unmanaged emotions were in control. They showed up as violent outbursts, unstable relationship, reckless choices, and even he went to prison at a point in time for a sentence for rape. You see, Mike Tyson later acknowledged that he had issues with his past that he didn't deal with. He had certain emotions happening in his past that he didn't deal with. And one among them was that he was sexually abused. So in the ring, those emotions seem to make him tough, but outside the ring, those emotions seem to make him weak. Maybe your situation is different but similar to this in some way. What is it that you have been through that when you are doing something good, it makes you strong, but when you are down, in your down moment, that same energy makes you weak? What is it? You see, we don't have to go through what Mike Tyson went through. At a point in time, he virtually lost almost everything he had. Why? Because those emotions that were not handled were driving his life from the background. That is what unhandled emotion does. It drives our lives from the background, influencing our choices, influencing our decisions, influencing our action and everything that we go through. Let me tell you something about the research done by James Gross. And James Gross is an expert when it comes to emotional regulation. And he did a research on the expressive suppression, that is, suppressing our emotions. And he realized that the act of consciously hiding, ignoring, and pushing down our feelings does not work in isolation. It doesn't work in isolation. So when you shut down difficult emotions, you are also shutting down your emotional life in general, including your ability to feel joy, to feel love, to feel enthusiasm. So you say you are shutting down anger, you are also shutting down indirectly your ability to be happy. You say that you are shutting down sadness, you are also indirectly shutting down your ability to feel joy. So it doesn't work in isolation. So what I'm trying to say is not that anytime you are angry, just go out and act right away, or anytime you feel any emotion, just follow your emotion and act right away. No, that is not the point. The point I'm making is that stop being control of over your emotions, always ignoring them or stopping them, but try to always acknowledge your emotions. So this is the point. When you notice a difficult feeling coming up, instead of immediately reaching out for a distraction, give yourself some time, a minute or two, to actually sit with it. Acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I'm feeling afraid. I'm feeling those doubts within me. I'm feeling lonely. I am feeling I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling joyful. Whatever that emotion is, acknowledge that emotion. It's very important. By acknowledging it, if it's a negative emotion, you reduce the intensity or the sense of control that feeling have over you. You can try this for yourself and see what I'm telling you. When you acknowledge it, it helps you to process it in a better way because you become conscious of what is happening within you, and that is when logic comes in to know what is best to do. That's all for today, my friend. Remember that what you ignore doesn't disappear. It finds a way through, usually in moments and places you least expected it to be. So, let's all continue to learn to acknowledge our emotions, name them, and listen to what they are telling us. Thank you very much for listening to the Streams of Emotions. I appreciate you spending time with me once again. Next time, we explore how emotions shape our relationship and the connections we build with others. Until then, remember this: there is power in your emotions. Learn from them, listen to them, and use them to your advantage instead of allowing them to manipulate you. Have a wonderful time. Bye.